We're American immigrants living in France.
We chose France because the values here, the culture, and what it felt possible for us to do here matched the life that we wanted. And I'm deeply grateful every day and very aware of the privilege that I have in living here. And I think a lot of people immigrate to the US for the exact same reasons that we came to France.
Every day here, we work to build a life. We run a business, we pay taxes, we're working to restore a home, contribute and build relationships here locally. Mm-hmm. And still, technically, all of this could be taken away if France decided tomorrow that we no longer had the right to stay.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I think that's what being an immigrant is anywhere that you are. It's a bit of a calculated risk that you take.
I think some of the courage to take that risk came from being raised in the US. I mean, when I was growing up, like you were told that our country was built by people who were brave enough to leave everything behind for a chance at building something better. And that country claimed to value law and due process and free expression and peaceful dissent. That country feels very far away right now. I am still shocked every time I hear my fellow Americans talk about illegals. Those are people. They are just missing paperwork. It could never be illegal to exist in the world.
I think from what we've seen that many of the people that are caught up in all these ICE detentions that you're seeing on the news and online, they aren't even out of compliance in any way. I think the immigration courts in the US are simply overwhelmed. And that's by design on purpose because they're underfunded. The system definitely needs a complete overhaul, but these people haven't done anything wrong. Cases can take years to be heard sometimes, leaving a lot of immigrants in the US in kind of a legal limbo.
And yet, people are being arrested and detained while doing exactly what they have been asked to do, which is showing up for check-ins and appointments and court dates, all because there's deportation quotas to meet now. Yeah. I cannot imagine being called to the prefecture in France to renew my residency card and being arrested instead. That's unthinkable to me in France because I feel I have trust that this country is run by rules and laws. And say what you will about French bureaucracy, but it's a whole system dedicated to that process of adhering to the rules. That feels like something I can trust. And, you know, if I hold up my end of the bargain as an immigrant here in France, then France will too.
And I think all that said, maybe in reality, the immigration irregularities are literally just a matter of paperwork. They're an administrative issue. There's nothing criminal about having the wrong paperwork. And despite what's being said, the actual data shows that the vast majority of people recently arrested and being detained by ICE, sometimes in secret, have absolutely no criminal record at all.
The official message about all this from the current administration is that this is business as usual, right? Everybody's overreacting. This is all just justified. But Americans, including those of us living abroad, we have seen the videos that contradict this narrative. It's the story of it.
Yeah, and a massive, massive thank you to all those kind of brave and dedicated Americans who are out documenting all of this despite the risks to themselves personally. And it's because of you and the work that you're doing right now that the world can see what is really happening. And we don't have to believe the stories that are just being told.
Yeah.
We know that it's a violation of human dignity, basic respect, and our basic constitutional rights in the US.
Yeah. And this is not to say we believe every country has the right to set their own immigration rules and people should follow them, right? We are not saying that we believe anything different. And honestly, if you know our channel, you know it's largely about following the rules in France.
We spend a lot of time talking about exactly what you should be doing.
Right. But there is a vast difference between immigration enforcement and blatantly violating human rights or federal agents killing people in the streets who are just trying to protect others. I mean, that's something in my mind that happened under other violent dictatorships in other parts of the world, like not in the US. But I've still, the lack of empathy from both authorities and, a few of my fellow Americans, it shocks me still around this.
It does. It's hard to swallow. It's especially strange because the U.S. has long claimed, or at least had the myth about itself, to be a nation of immigrants.
We are.
And we absolutely are.
Unless you were already there.
Statistically, I think immigrants are much more likely to start businesses in the U.S. They grow the economy, and they're much less likely to commit crimes than native-born citizens.
We have linked references below.
Yeah. And if the U.S. actually wanted a stronger economy or safer communities, if any of this was about that, they would be fixing the immigration system, which means to process people efficiently, to regularize their status in the country, and allow them and encourage them to integrate as productive members of society as quickly as possible.
Which I think that's what the vast majority of immigrants come to the U.S. for.
Are trying to do, yeah. And I completely agree that deportations must happen sometimes.
Yep.
That certainly happens. This is true in France as well.
Right.
But they can and should and must happen with due process, following the rule of law, and respecting basic human dignity. What we're seeing now, right now in the U.S., is not that at all.
Yeah. So why are we making this video right now? Those of you who watch us regularly know our channel is usually just like practical, focused education or sharing our experience about Americans moving to France. We rarely share personal political views because it's not really relevant to the mission of our channel of helping you move to France.
Yeah.
But after recent events, staying silent didn't feel right.
I think if we don't take a stop and say that this is not okay, if we just act like this is normal or play it off, then it does become normal. It becomes acceptable if you don't make a statement. I don't ever want to live in a country where masked, secret, armed men can terrorize and murder or execute people in public with not just the lack of accountability is shocking, but the open support from the federal government is horrifying.
So, and I have to say, like, if you've been thinking, well, those people must have done something wrong, or this doesn't really affect me, I'm not really involved in immigration or an immigrant, or like, okay, we just got to get through this, let me just keep my head down, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's exactly how oppressive systems and regimes and governments work, by making sure that people don't speak up for anyone else.
Certainly we know this because the people who have fled authoritarian governments decades ago, they're reaching out to us now, and they have been for months. They recognize the pattern and see what's going on, and they want to get out.
So we're also hearing from people who self-identify traditionally as conservatives, very often former service members who don't recognize the country they served.
Yeah.
All that feels really heavy. But we refuse to believe that all this is lost, because there is still a lot of good people in the world.
And to our French viewers and people here in the country and friends who have sent us notes of solidarity and warm thoughts, thank you. We're super touched by this. À nos spectateurs amis français qui nous ont envoyé des messages de solidarité, merci, beaucoup de merci. Nous sommes touchés.
And to the people of Minneapolis, we are far away, but seeing you stand up for people who are vulnerable, even when it costs you, gives us hope.
Yeah, I can't express how emotional it's been to see the people of Minneapolis and people all over the country really to stand up against this. And there are definitely people in the U.S. who see this very clearly, and they understand what's at stake and what exactly is going on around them. And people who are definitely willing to say, make that statement that this is not who we are. So to all of you in the U.S. that are doing that right now, thank you very much.
Yeah. So do what you can, where you are, with what you have. Thank you for watching.
A bientôt.